Hey, it's Rob Lightfoot, proud two-time alum of Rowan University.
And I'm Jessica Kennedy, also a two-time Rowan alum. And you're listening to
Beyond the Brown and Gold.
Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM presents Beyond the Brown and Gold, a show that highlights the lives and memories of Glassboro State and Rowan University alumni. Now, here are your hosts, Rob Lightfoot and Jessica Kennedy.
Jess, we're going to learn about the music industry today from our 1990 alum, Steve Feinberg, who is also back, by the way, as a faculty member. But here's the thing. He wasn't a music major when he was here.
I know. I was reading the bio thinking, this guy had to be a College of Performing Arts grad. But no, he's a College of Communication and Creative Arts grad. He was a communications major, but he was a band guy. Grew up straight edge, punk.
You know what happens with those band guys?
I choose not to know what happens with the band guys.
But no, he was super. He was in a band here, right? Playing with his friends here. He remembered all his, when he was in Glassboro State College, he remembered all his room numbers and stuff like that, where he was.
What a good memory he has.
But the music industry is kind of really where he found his passion in life and where his career took him.
Yeah, he's been in that career area for 24 years. He's been able to bring that passion here to Rowan to teach current students in the music industry courses at the College of Performing Arts. So he is in the College of Performing Arts now, which is really kind of where I feel like he should have been the whole time. So Steve has served as a talent agent. He's taught at NYU. He discovered the pop punk band from Maryland, Good Charlotte, which we will talk about at depth in the interview.
Which I dig. I dig the most.
You dig the most. Super fun. He also has worked closely with Steve Madden and became business partners and launched Five Town Records, signed young artists. I mean, a really diverse and fun career. And we talk a little bit about kind of how he's just gone where the wind has taken him, which is a great personality to have because, Rob, that's not me and you.
No.
So it's always...
exactly. The guest carries it, and he carried it today in today's episode. So take a listen to Steve in today's show. So, Steve, welcome back to Rowan University again.
Thank you very much.
Because you're one of the few guests that we've had here that's now on the faculty, right?
I am.
It's not really welcome back if he's here consistently, right?
I guess. No. I was...
Yes and no.
But you were saying... that you were in these not these studios exactly, but the WGLS studios. When was the last time?
When was the last time?
Yeah.
That's rude. Right in the beginning, 1988.
We should just kick it off and just say you're a 1990 alum. So
I am the last graduating class of Glassboro State College.
What was that like?
Old. No, I loved it. I had a great college experience.
Okay, tell us how you got here, where you grew up.
I grew up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Okay.
Cherry Hill West. West is best. East is least. You'll understand if you're from Cherry Hill.
Oh.
They have purple. My niece goes there now.
Okay.
Purple and white. The only reason I went to college is I was playing in a band, and some of my bandmates went here.
Okay.
It seemed easy to get into.
What did you play? What instrument did you play?
I play bass.
Okay. Ugh, you're a bass player.
Bass
players are
classically
trouble.
trained.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
I would have gone to University of the Arts, which that would have been a useless degree.
Oh,
was that too soon? Too soon.
Wow.
I apologize.
Right out with it.
I apologize.
Now, the bass players are always like the troublemakers in the band. Was that your position as well?
Absolutely.
What is that?
No, because you know why? Because they can scan the room and they can do what they're playing, but they know exactly what's going on and they can have fun.
We have very different egos, right? There's a lead singer,
Yes.
big ego, lead guitarist, bigger ego, drummer, who's clearly crazy, and then there's the bass player.
Well, listen, I dated in high school. My high school boyfriend was lead guitarist.
Yeah, she's got a thing.
Well, there you
lead
go.
singer.
I thought you looked familiar.
But it's always the bass players. Always the bass players to get in trouble.
But so tell us, was the family pushing you to come to Glassboro State or go to college, period? Or was that like college was always in your sights?
College was not in my sights. My brother, incredibly intelligent, went to Drexel on a Navy scholarship, served in the Navy for 30 plus years. Sister went to University of Georgia. They were both incredibly intelligent. Then there was me, ADD, dyslexia, a whole bunch of other neurodivergent stuff probably.
Did you know that though at the time?
No, they just said, oh, he's wild or too social. That's what we used to call it back then, kids. So I came here. It was close. It was nice. I really loved the school. I got a brand new dorm. The brand new dorms, Chestnut Hall. If you go here now, you'll think that's funny. Chestnut Hall.
I also lived in Chestnut
Hall.
Hall.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
I was in room 210.
Wow. How do you remember that?
Because my first band here was called Mel Bay and the Boy in 210.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Love that.
Mel Bay wrote music instrumental books. So my Jim Sutcliffe, my friend we were Mel Bay, and my roommate was the boy in 210.
Okay.
So that's why I remember.
You don't remember your number?
I was a 2. I was definitely on the second floor, but I don't know if it was.
And my band
in the same room.
and my Philly band would actually come here, and we'd have our rehearsals in the end rooms there at Chestnut Hall. They let us have band practice every week here.
So you were all music while you were here?
Yeah, I was a communications major.
How come you didn't come in studying? Because actually, when I read your bio, I was like, "How's this guy not a CPA grad? How are you not a College of Performing Arts grad?" What had
me in? No. The reason I didn't do that or go to University of the Arts was I didn't want bass to be my thing. I thought that was I was a punk rock kid. I thought that was too confining and too down the path. So I was just did communications because I wanted to study film and art and all those things.
Talk to us about that experience while you were here. You still were the band guy, so
yeah.
So what was your academic experience like?
Oh my God. The academic side of things. The academic side of things.
I don't think I understand.
Yeah. See, academics are things when people go to class, they get a grade.
Oh, that didn't go great.
Okay.
I mean, as we've discussed before this podcast started, I was not thrown out of this school, but I wasn't a shining example of academia.
Okay.
But again, I was playing in, at the time, which was probably the most popular band in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. I had to work 3 jobs like a lot of people that go here. I was a bartender. I didn't drink in college, but I was a bartender in Philadelphia at the Khyber Pass on 2nd and Chestnut. So I did
another
sound.
Chestnut in your life.
I did sound at a place called Dobbs, which is on 3rd and South. So I was splitting my time between playing in the band, going to school here, and working multiple jobs. So, and I worked in the first computer lab here, and I did flyers for all the local bars. There was 3 back then, and they didn't realize that I would just print the flyers on different color paper. I think I told you this story. For like St. Patrick's Day, I would print one bar's flyers on green paper with the same ad, and then the other would be white paper with green print, and I just make double the money. Wow. So I was busy, and school was like just the base of my social activity more than my academic.
But you finished.
I did, yes. I graduated.
Just want to be clear. We got to get this, through for Mom.
I was studying art as well, but degree in communications from Glassboro State College.
I forget, does Mom have a history here too?
No, she's a teacher at Woodcrest Elementary. She was a teacher at Woodcrest Elementary. She's still with us. She's just not a teacher anymore. I just when I said
Thank
that,
you for pointing that out.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. But she's a retired teacher from Woodcrest Elementary. So yeah.
So talk about the band side of things. That was that a way for you to be more social, or like what was that? Is that your expression of your creativity? What was that for you?
Yeah, I grew. Oh, that's a good question. Thanks for asking.
This sounds like a therapy appointment.
I'll lay down to answer this one. So I did need to express. Again, I was a straight edge punk rock kid, so I believed in getting it out musically, like getting my feelings and emotions out musically. My best friend from high school, and then my best friend in life, I guess, to this day, who also went here. We just love doing it. Like, I just laughed. When I think about my band, I actually think about laughing all the time. We just had the greatest time. Playing live for people went really well. They were very humored by our humored by our music. That's a terrible statement. But we weren't a comedy duo. But it was really great. And it made me happier than most things that I did in my life to this day.
Were you playing locally here in this area?
Yeah, we played, if there was a national band coming through, we were playing Philly, the TLA, Dobbs, or any of those places. We were normally the opening act. We got very lucky.
Who was booking you? Were you booking it?
Jim and I were booking our own shows, which could lead back to here, is because we were booking the music here at the university.
Okay.
So for people who don't remember, there was a lot of acts.
Because it seems like this was just like a stop on your...
Yeah.
But you actually did get involved.
No, we did. Jim was really helping me get it. Jim was studying, I think, creative writing, but Venue was the magazine here at the school, but I don't think it exists anymore. But it was art and music and culture and fashion, and Jim and I were writing the record reviews, what was coming out. I remember I did Biz Marquee, his first record. Panned that terrible album, and now it's like, multi-platinum, but whatever. But we brought in the Ramones, came here while we were here, the Beastie Boys, we brought in the Beastie Boys, Run DMC. So we were bringing in what we were listening to and liking.
Yeah.
But it started to make Glassboro at the time kind of popular because we were bringing in such great acts. And then there was a band called Crowded House. They played the show, and to open. Whoever won the Battle of the Bands at Glassboro State College got to open for them. They were an international band coming through on their world tour, and my band won the contest, and we got to open for.
How convenient, just booking bands you get to try out.
Yeah,
for.
exactly. Well, no, we had a Battle of the Bands with 8 bands.
So how did one back in the day just like book the Beastie Boys? Did you just go down to the B section of the
Yeah, the
yellow
phone
pages?
book.
Yeah, Beastie.
Kids,
yeah.
there used to be just a phone book, not the internet.
Yeah.
But no, we literally found who represented them, and Jim would call them, not knowing anything about the music business. But we were so neurotic little kids that Jim would call them so often that the booking agent from William Morris at the time, the biggest booking agency in the world, said to Jim, "If you ever call me again, I'll make sure you never work in the music business." And hung up on us. Like, we were just young kids trying to get these really famous bands to come here. We just call until someone agreed to do it. And then hand it over to SGA, I guess.
Because GSC had tons of big acts come through from here.
Yeah, it was a good time also to be here. It was very art and culture centric. Venue had its own house on Main Street, which that side of the street doesn't exist anymore, but I lived at 66 Main Street, which is still there, a couple houses down from the diner, Angela's Diner.
So good that memory for numbers of places that you live.
Well, we call it 66. Still, some of my friends, we refer to ourselves as 66. It's like a thing. That whole thing there was a couple of fraternities, but it was all art houses and music houses. So it was like a really great time to be here for that.
So when you left Glassboro, I'm not going to say left because that.
Oh, I left. I left.
When you graduated and you weren't kicked out of Glassboro State, what was your next? Yes, I just want to be super clear about this. What was your next step?
Moved to Philly, 7th and Pine. 711 Pine Street.
He loves these.
711 Pine Street, if you want to know.
I just want him to keep throwing numbers.
My next apartment was 713 Pine Street. I moved.
I'm playing these in the lottery actually tonight.
True story. Yeah, please do. I worked at a book publisher. My other best friend who had done all my tattoos worked at as well. And then I worked security for an upstart company called J. Crew. Oh. They were just starting out.
Security, like in the store. So like I don't steal a pair of jeans.
Correct.
Okay,
but
they're expensive there.
And it was 16th and Chestnut. It wasn't the greatest neighborhood at the time. I don't know if it is now. But I ended up meeting a woman who came in to train the managers. They liked her so much they kept her in our store. There was only 5 J. Crew stores at the time. But I then married that woman.
Oh, wow.
I was playing in the band. The band, to the best of my memory, this is how the story goes.
This is your version of this.
I would like to say
your
this
narrative.
We're not fact checking this.
Thank you. This is my version. But Jim and I went to see REM, the band REM, and they were playing with 10,000 Maniacs. It was called the Spectrum back then. We went to see them. We stayed after the bands came out. We gave Peter Buck from REM our demo tape. He happened to with my home phone number on it, and a couple of days later, Peter Buck from REM, a globally famous band, called my house and said, "We love this. We want to give it to our record label, and you guys should talk about a deal."
Wow.
And our minds were blown. It's like a fake, it's like Almost Famous or something, And then the record label went out of business.
Oh, man.
And we broke up.
The band broke up.
The band broke up.
Okay.
Our lead singer did have tinnitus really bad. And he actually went to Alaska for a couple months to be away from it all, even though he worked in a cannery, which had to bother his ears. So I think he was lying to us. But I've never brought that up I never brought that up to Rick Clams Chowder Henderson. I've never brought that up to him, but I think he was lying to us all.
Are you still friends with him?
Not, we're, friendly. Digitally.
Now we demand answers, Rick.
Yeah.
Digital. I like digital friends. I'd rather have digital friends. I like that. We're friends digitally. I like that as a definition.
Yeah, that's how we, there you go. So, but I moved to New York, and I got a job randomly and weirdly enough with a Oscar-winning actor named Kevin Kline, who won an Oscar for Fish Called Wanda. I actually started working for him, and for some reason, my girlfriend at the time had to move back to Philly for a while, so I commuted every day to New York City by train to work for Kevin and his wife, Phoebe Cates, also a famous actress. I thought I just fell into the greatest thing on the planet. He was super famous. We traveled by limo. We did whatever we wanted, and he went off to shoot a movie. So I was quickly unemployed. I got a job at a little TV show called Law & Order, which was the #1 TV show in the world at the time. I started running the script department. Remember, I have dyslexia and ADD, so it was a terrible job for me. But I ran the script department of the #1 show in the world, I couldn't read. I did that for a little while. The guy who created it, Dick Wolf, started giving me more and more shows. I ran 4 TV shows, and I was at the age of 23, and it was the craziest life I can imagine. I was working literally 6 days a week, 20 hours a day. It was crazy, but I loved it. My then still girlfriend was running J. Crew at a corporate level. It was a great life, but it was too much. So I became a talent agent representing the actors because I did come from the world of like the artist side, but I really understood the corporate side.
How does one just become a talent agent? Because that doesn't seem like something you just become.
You don't. I'm glad you asked. No, well, because I was working on all those TV shows, a bunch of those actors kept saying, you seem to understand us in a meeting, but you know how to talk to the producers.
Okay.
You should meet my agent. You should meet my agent. And then someone said, you should be my agent. And I said, I don't even know what agents do, literally.
Like,
So he
I don't
said,
know what that means.
go to lunch with my agent. I said, if I go to lunch with him and then I become your agent, that's going to go badly for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe I could go to lunch with
I'm
somebody
at
else.
least smart enough to know that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I did. I went to lunch with this at an agency called Paradigm, which then was a boutique agency. And I met them, and it went great. And they said, you could come and become a junior agent. And I was making a lot of money at the TV shows, and they offered me a very little bit of money. So I said,
Yes.
sure. Yeah. Sounds like a great idea. My then girlfriend, fiance,
She's
was
like,
like,
"What are you doing?"
"You are an idiot."
She's like, where's my ring? You got to
I was
save
like,
for that.
it's a vertical move eventually. But what happened was I represented only one actor. When Law and Order needed a new actor for their show, I called Dick Wolf because I worked for him. I had his home phone number, and I said, will you see my actress? I only represent one. And she got the lead on the show.
Wow.
Therefore, I went from junior agent to agent
Overnight.
instantly.
Wow.
And yeah, this is true. Everybody who was an assistant with me all quit because they hated me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a way to annoy
But I
people.
went to Glassboro State. It was amazing. And then I realized quite quickly how much I hate being an agent because they care about money and not the art. It's their job. That's what they do. So I did that for a little bit. I left and went to go work for Don Buchwald, who just passed away. Don Buchwald was Howard Stern's agent. I worked with actually the Howard Stern show. I helped Howard Stern start his production company, and I represented a handful of actors and actresses. But I realized you could be a manager where you could actually work for the artist and have to argue with the agents, and that seemed really sexy to me. So I quit and
You
started my
seem
own
like you would
company.
be good at arguing.
You do?
Yeah.
I do?
You do.
I am.
There was a little bit of tension there.
Yeah.
I know.
I thought there was a moment
Yeah.
going on.
Who is? So I did that, and I started my own company, and I represented actors. I actually started teaching at NYU. I taught the business of acting as an adjunct.
Did you do that because you were already making money at that point? What made you go to
No,
teach?
I was so not making. I was actually quite broke, to be honest. So I'd gone from Dick Wolf making lots of money
Right.
to a talent agent making very little money to owning my own company making $0 and
Okay.
0 cents.
So even though you became a senior agent,
Senior agent, I was making a little more money.
yeah, but not enough.
Not enough.
Okay.
And my wife was making so much money.
Yeah. Was she your wife yet?
God bless her. She's my wife then. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for bringing up the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm divorced now, so let's not talk about it.
Wait, is that
You
true?
are hitting on.
Yeah. She doesn't know. Honey, if you're listening, honey, we're divorced now.
It
You
didn't go
talked
well.
about it so lovingly. I felt like
I have an amazing
I didn't see
divorce
that
and
coming.
ex-wife, and we have amazing children. So, no.
this is beautiful. This is the
went well.
most beautiful breakup story I've ever heard.
It actually is. We vacation together. That's a true story. She's now remarried. They have kids. I have someone. She has kids. We all vacation together.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
What a beautiful little blended family.
It actually is really.
It all worked out.
So I was managing actors, and actually I had one artist, and she was on a soap opera, but the commission was going elsewhere. She did end up winning a daytime Emmy, and so she was sort of my calling card, and that was going well, but I wasn't really making any money. And then I realized the people that teach the business piece of acting at NYU, which is a great school, was a 78-year-old woman who was almost on Broadway once. Well, she couldn't possibly be teaching, something weighty. So I pitched NYU the idea of me doing it. My friend was also a former agent. She married Andrew Shue from Melrose Place. And we taught it together. One day was her, one day was me. And it was
that's
this
fun.
amazing class. Very two different perspectives, giving them this information. I loved teaching. And I couldn't even get into NYU, so it was amazing they were letting me teach there. But when I was there, I met twins in a band through a mutual friend that changed my life because it became my career. So I met those twins. Shall I tell you who that is? So I met those twins they were in a restaurant playing cover songs. And I said, you're young punks. I'm an old punk. Why don't I try and help you? I was calling myself an old punk at 30, by the way. Now I know what that means because my back hurts all the time. But they said, yeah, that sounds great. And I started working with them as a manager. And within 1 year, by the way, and I wanted to say this because it's important to know, I was about to declare bankruptcy. That's how little money I was making.
Wow.
Wife at the time had given
This is all very
me
confusing.
1 year to get that act together,
Okay.
where I had to sort of go get a job and contribute to our household. I didn't have kids yet. So I had a son. She said, all right, you got until he's 1 to pull it all together. Find the band. Within 1 year, they have a $250,000, this is vague, publishing deal and $1 million record deal. And I'm now a music manager.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kind of by accident almost, or like by luck?
Yeah.
Because you weren't seeking out to do that, really, right?
I absolutely was not. Absolutely not. I'm very into saying yes to opportunities. It's actually, my career is sort of a meandering river, and I accept every bend that comes, including this one.
So talk to us about what that looked like
Yeah,
from then on. Can you tell us who it was?
Can you tell us who it was?
Of course. You know who it is.
I know who it is,
I mean,
but
it's
I'm going to
written
say
in your bio, but it's not
I'm
really
gonna
a
say it in-
podcast
I'm
folks
gonna
that
say it
don't
and
know
everyone-
that I know you. But.
Yeah, I was going to say it, and then everyone who's listening goes, I don't know who that is. So, all right. So Google, the band was called Good Charlotte. They were sort of in the pop punk vein.
They're very popular.
Yeah, I mean, they've sold now, I think, 14 million albums and billions of streams. At the time, they had never even played in public.
Wow.
They were twins, were in high school, but they were just getting out. They were homeless. Joel's missing a tooth. The one guitarist was still in high school. We had to get him out to go record his major label debut. But listen, I didn't know anyone in the music business. Even from Jim and I calling strangers to get, the Beasties here, I knew
If nothing else, you almost ruined your opportunity. to
Well,
get to
Jim
meet people.
definitely almost ruined
Yeah.
his opportunity. They hated him for years, but I just blamed everything on Jim.
Yeah,
We're going to get Jim. We're actually going to get Jim on the show.
Yeah,
Oh, is that true?
No, we should do that,
We
don't you
should
think?
have done it together, except no story would ever be complete because we'd be
Finished.
giggling.
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. Grown men giggling on the radio is good.
No, but good show.
That's my podcast,
So,
Grown Men
so,
Giggling.
so pop punk sound. That is something that is like a guilty pleasure of
That was
mine.
like an era.
I know, but I love that. Like what's the band that I love? Whenever they come on the radio, I can't not help but listen to them. Blink-182.
Oh, yeah.
Like that whole sound for me, every time it brings me back to my youth, but it's such a cool, like just
It's fun.
kitschy sound.
Right. If you were making fun of Good Charlotte, you would call them Blink-181. They came right after. People may have.
What year
insulted
was
us.
this?
So I met them in 1999. They were signed to Epic Records by 2000, and the record came out in late 2000. So it all happened right in 2000, right at the same time as Sum 41 and a bunch of other bands. Sum 41 and Good Charlotte actually got their publishing deals on the same day by the same person. We were in the.
These were like my
EMI.
high school years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
So
key formative music years.
right, and it was like.
But where are you like mentally with all this? Because now you're like, this was then. Like, we'll get to that.
Now I've worked through it.
Yeah. No, but
Therapy.
He's still laying down.
But I mean, like you're in this moment and you're trying to find your way, and next thing you know, this band takes off, and are you like,
You're like, what am I
like,
doing?
what are you doing? Like, you calling your
1
friends every day and saying,
1,000,000%. And again, because I say yes to opportunities, but I put myself out there really with energy, personally, like I am in it to win it all the time. We were being courted by major labels, and literally, so Benji and Joel, the twin brothers from Good Charlotte, and I literally flew around the world. They had never even been on an airplane. We're flying to Australia, New Zealand, to Germany, to the UK, all over the place. It was the craziest. It's funny because I try and explain this to people, but everyone, I hope you appreciate it. I was just a simple kid from New Jersey, and next thing I know, barely graduating college, who's now
What you did.
flying around the world with this band, and they get their deal, and they become popular, and we do a TV show on MTV where they do a countdown back when there was countdowns.
TRL?
You're
saying it like they don't know what it is, but
they did what was it called? All Things Rock, which was part of the TRL family, and from the road they would do like the rock countdown. They were touring the country. I pitched MTV the idea that we would do it from a different city every day. They gave us a mic and a camera and let us go do it. But that made them almost more famous than popular. But then it fed into the popularity, and they were at MTV. They won the MTV Awards in 2004. They won the People's Choice. I do have a Moon Man.
That's fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I've
I want
actually
one of
Moon
those.
Man.
How do we get one of those?
Other countries, there
need
are
one.
other things. In Japan, it's a sumo, and Australia, it's a platypus. I don't know why, but that's true. I have them all, and I have platinum plaques on my wall. Like, it was better than a movie. I mean, it truly was.
Did you have a little bit of an imposter syndrome because you had never done it before?
Well, were you in my therapy session yesterday? Because I said to my therapist, which I seem to have many, I finally feel like I'm not an imposter now.
Yeah. Here
at Rowan teaching. This is the first time in my life that I feel.
What makes you feel like that? Because there's like comfort and familiarity to it?
No, because after 25 years of doing business and been fortunate enough to be successful, teaching kids now, I know that I know enough to teach them something. So I teach freshmen in Business and Music 1, but I also teach the seniors, and we have our own record label called Artist Services 1, 2, and 3. I know how to actually do those things, and I know how to effectively communicate it. So I don't feel like an imposter for the first time, truly, in my life, maybe.
What a good feeling that probably is.
Yeah.
Love
Fired my therapist.
There'll be something new tomorrow. You shouldn't have done that.
He was done.
But you had other artists that you interacted with, right?
Oh, yeah. So I had many. So, yeah, I worked with a group called... So my next signing was My Morning Jacket, who is an amazing touring band and critically acclaimed. I signed a comedy duo from New Zealand called Flight of the Conchords, which became a TV show on HBO. And then I partnered with a guy named Simon Renshaw, and we managed the Dixie Chicks, and we were Miranda Lambert's first managers as well, who's gone on to win endless country music awards. So, I mean, it's hard to explain, but it was way more than I could have asked for.
Yeah.
So
At some point, does it become like not? I don't say you're not chasing it anymore, but like it just happens. So it's like you needed something bigger and bigger.
I'll tell you. So I don't have that personality trait.
He was a straight edge kid, so he
well, no. So I had met.
I have so much to learn from you.
I met Pat Magnarella, who at the time was the manager of Green Day. He had a band called All American Rejects, who were really lovely, and the Goo Goo Dolls. So he was
small names,
right? Super successful, and he was sort of a mentor to me. And so my story is when I started to become a manager and I knew nothing, I got out the yellow pages. Just kidding. I used the internet, and I called the manager of No Doubt, who was super popular. Also, he manages.
Listen, I just called them.
Well, no. By the way, I didn't know them. Guillermo, his name is. So I literally found his number on the internet, and I called him up. But I called up the manager of Blink 182. His name was Rick DeVoe. I called up Pat Magnarella, the manager of Green. I literally just looked them up and called them on the phone. That's the kind of person I was. So the story is the manager of The Offspring and No Doubt was super nice to me. Talked to me for about 15 minutes. I was like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in this situation. I'm talking to these people, and I have this band that I love, blah, blah, blah. And he gave me some advice. The manager of Blink, who's still a jerk to this day, gave me no advice. He was like, you're on your own, kid, and sent me in with Pat Magnarella, who managed Green Day, who goes on to be one of the biggest managers and biggest bands in the world. He talks to me for an hour, just tells me, shares stories, tells me what he thinks I should do. Amazing. So that's the kind of sort of career I had just by reaching out. And I also then give that back. Like it still happens to me where people call me up and be like, can you give me advice? And I love it. And teaching is part of that. But Pat had moon men everywhere. All over it. He had this lamp and it had just moon men all around the base. And I was like, oh, someday I would love to win one of those. And he's like, you'll win one, kid.
Oh.
You know? And so he's telling me this thing. I said, I still get on the tour bus. And I'm like looking in the cabinets. How did I get on the tour bus? I still appreciate that I'm on the tour bus. And it's never changed. Every band, every client I've ever had has made fun of me for how excited I am to be in that world. I still see myself as this kid from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So I'm very honored to do it, to be in it, and to have success. Like, it's really an incredible life.
How did you get reconnected with this position at Rowan that you have now?
I can't really remember. Just kidding. Our host, are you considered the host of the show?
Co-host.
So this co-host right here called me up looking for money.
Yeah.
No, I think
not
he
supposed to
hit me
tell
up
people
on.
that.
I think he hit me on LinkedIn or something. Is
Hit
that
you on
possible?
LinkedIn. Yeah, hit you on
He hit
LinkedIn.
me up on LinkedIn, and
Good first move. Good first
I
move.
do have
you.
a really soft spot for Glassboro. It was a great experience. I wasn't a great student, but it was a great experience. And we just started talking, and I said, "Listen, I don't really have the money
Via
to do
Zoom,
that."
by the way. It was a Zoom. I was seeing you from here up. That's all.
It was COVID, right?
COVID.
Yeah, it was during COVID. We zoomed it up. We had this lovely chat. I mean, he's a music person as well, or a lover, a fan of music. So we were talking about all sorts of things. And I said, listen, I don't really have the money or want to give you any money. I think you want to be the second of those two choices. But I said, I'll give you my time.
Yeah.
I'll guess like if you, I'll come down and tell my story to the kids. And he's like, oh, you would do that? Let me ask the Dean Dammers. And I think that's what happened. And I came down here and I guest lectured. It went very well, and I loved it. And they said, listen, we have a full-time faculty position coming up next semester. Would you be interested? So, yeah, I did it. But I did it like I went through the whole, had to meet a panel of people and write a resume, an essay and do all that stuff. ChatGPT. Just kidding. Edit that out.
Yeah, but now, like, so now talk to us specifically about the classes you're teaching. Like, what are some of the skills that you're trying to, impart on the kids so they can take into this current version of this music industry?
I mean, the best advice I can give them is don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Someone told me that once. No, so I teach, it's interesting. I teach sort of the beginning and the end of their process in the music industry. Oh, so by the way, when I was at NYU, I was teaching the business of acting 1, and here I teach the business of music 1. And that's when you're a freshman in the music industry program, you take that, and it's really an overview of the entire music business, record labels, distribution, all the things, publishing, and all the things. You sort of who does what, how it happens, which is actually way trickier than you think because it's finding the starting point in that never-ending spiral is hard. And then we have business music too, but I don't, and that goes in depth, but I don't teach that only because I literally don't have enough hours to do it, because I also teach artist services 1, artist services 2, and artist services 3, which you take as a second semester junior in both your senior semesters. And that is a functioning record label here at Rowan, and Red Oak Records.
It's going to come out after.
Yeah.
It'll come out after that.
Just gave away the secret. So we're relaunching Rowan Music Group as a new label, and they work it. We find artists, we release the music through Sony Music, our label, and Sony Music Distribution, and then we promote it, and it's amazing. And they're the kids that really take to it and do their job, if you will, versus take the class. I help them get jobs after, because they're working at a record label. They're working at my record label, which we didn't sort of end my story, but it ends with me running a record label, an independent record label through Warner Brothers, which was the last thing I did before COVID. And so I just took what I actually did there, and it was going very well before COVID, and doing it here with these kids. And, the built-in problem is that I'm always having new students. So now we actually teach classes concurrently, so the seniors and the juniors work together. So then when the seniors graduate, the juniors take over, and it's amazing. I almost cried the other day watching them break into their departments and work a marketing problem, come up with the socials behind it. Production had to step in, and then we actually have an art department, and it's been incredible.
That is
I love
really
it.
cool experience.
That is cool. And then they have a tangible product at the end, which is an amazing thing for them to shop.
And, someone who left here, she's on her resume is like, I was the general manager of an independent record label, which is true. And that's amazing. So,
and then how do we hear these productions though?
The music that we're doing? Okay, so mostly through socials is how you would track it, through Rowan Music Group on Instagram. Again, we're going to change the name, so it'll change a little bit. But then those artists, we only see them, and the beauty is we don't own any of their music. We're sort of the kind record labels that we just work with them for the release, and then we give them the rights back. And so I've only been here 1 year, so we only have 3 so far. But then this next semester we'll have another 3. So we will have a catalog of people we've launched, and hopefully they come back as, this one band we worked with last semester, Polaroid Fade, had a couple thousand followers. Now they have tens of thousands of followers. Like, they really grew.
Yeah.
We can't take the credit, but it did happen on our watch.
Right.
And it's amazing to see that happen. Local bands becoming more popular and hopefully go on to become truly popular. They're going to say, we launch their career. And that's why I do it.
It's kind of full circle too, because you grew up with that band piece being so important.
Oh, and I wish this existed when I was here. Like this didn't. Our band probably would have got signed with that thing because we were like the band on campus. Mm-hmm. It would have been amazing. So I want to give that.
And how long has this been in existence, this program?
Rowan Music Group? Oh, since I believe the beginning of the music industry program, which is 9 years this year. But it was taught a little more like a class, and the byproduct of that was this compilation that they worked on. This is a little more like a label where we go out and sign artists and and promote them. So it's a little more direct, a record label. And
so when you came into the I just got to ask this blunt question, and you can be honest with it, you can just throw it away. But when you came in with your years of experience in the real like life industry of working with these artists, did you come in and go, you know what, let me see that thing, and go, we're going to redo this whole puppy?
Oh, I'm not being honest with that. Whoa. Jesus, are you trying to hit me? I don't get tenure up in this beast.
Did you tweak it? How about that? Is that a better question?
Yeah, I tweak everything I do.
You can't crumple the paper. That was a great sound effect.
Yeah, that was a great sound effect. If only we had a sound effects person. Crumple paper is the button. No. And listen, Michael MacArthur was here before me, and he's still adjuncts, and he's had senior A&R at Warner Brothers 300.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like your version of this.
Yeah, so he was just doing it differently with a different purpose. So what happened was when I came in, 1 and 3 were taught separately. So the juniors and seniors took those as separate classes. And the problem was, so when I started here, I tried to get as much feedback from kids on what was going on. And they all the juniors were complaining, and the seniors were reiterating that when they were juniors, it was very difficult because you're competing for like the same thing, but you have upperclassmen or people above you getting it. So the juniors felt sort of robbed of the experience. And one of my students said, why don't you teach them at the same time? Is that a thing? And I was like, And I figured it out. The dean and the director of the program, Matt, were like, actually, that could be brilliant if we can get it together. It took me about a year to get it so it works like a system, but it does. And I actually think it's amazing. Because as if you were at a record label, there would be a senior marketing person, there'd be a junior marketing person. Well, now there's juniors and seniors. So it works like that, and it works quite well.
I have to ask, so 2 questions for me, final. 1, we already know you're Sagittarius, but 1, are you still that punk guy? You still into the punk scene?
Oh, you want that answer now? I thought you were going to...
No. I want the answer first.
Very much so.
Okay. Who's your favorite band right now? This is a 1A.
Right now?
Yeah.
I love a band called LS Dunes, which is actually a super group from the guys from Thursday, My Chemical Romance, and Circus Survive. They're amazing.
Okay, and then my final question. You ready for this? What are you telling your Glassboro State College friends that you've come back to this campus? It looks completely different from where you left it. How are you communicating, your story, what this place has turned into?
Such a big school, and it's so impressive that it's quite easy to brag. I mean, I don't think anyone that went here when I went here would probably even get in now. But if they did, we all would have been music industry majors. And so it's very easy to be positive about it because it's really quite an impressive school now. I don't know if it was back then.
At least not for you.
Is that wrong to say?
No,
it just was. It was, it had gone from teachers college to whatever that version was.
And it was a lot of. It was always labeled as a suitcase college.
Yeah,
commuter students and no activity here.
It might have been under 10,000 kids total, and that's with probably 7,000 of them commuting. So it was small.
Yeah,
I mean, what are we at? 23, 25,000.
Yeah, but now there's more things to do on campus. It's just evolved a lot more.
Was there a graduate school? There was not. There was only 2 colleges in the college or something like that. So it's quite easy to brag about, in my opinion, because it's pretty cool. Billboard magazine will come out and say that Rowan University is in the top music industry schools in the country.
Wow.
Yes.
That's very cool.
So it's pretty easy to brag about because it's gone from Matt starting the program 9 years ago to us hitting the ranking this year. And we have our biggest class ever in the music industry. And we're going to get that sort of nod from the industry, from Billboard magazine. So it feels like it's going well.
Were you a straight edge punk kid?
Oh my goodness, was I ever? Not straight edge, yes, but not punk.
Okay.
I wasn't in the, but I did like punk music. I like all sorts of music. I was
Yes.
more like the rock sound though.
But what was that rock sound in your day?
I guess actually, no, when I think about it, I guess maybe it was more of this punky stuff because we talked about like the Green Day. Mm-hmm. That was probably more my sound.
And
but I was more of like a classic rocker at heart anyway. Like
yeah.
some of the
Like
older,
you liked the older music.
the older music, which
Yeah.
is kind of like what hit for me.
Well, they just don't make music like they used to.
No, they don't.
I don't think they make humans like they
Were
used
you
to.
were you a punk rock? Oh no, Steve was something different.
Oh my gosh, I know. No, I was not a well, I don't know. I think I really wanted to be punk rock. I was definitely straight edge.
Yeah.
Really wanted to be punk rock. I was a little bit more emo than punk rock.
Okay.
Was listening to Dashboard Confessional actually on my way to work today. So, yeah, I still have that emo like teenager deep inside my soul. But that music is such a formative part of who
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And the memories that we have, and it's just amazing how you can hear a song and it just brings you back. So how cool to think that he's like been a part of helping music get to generations of people.
And now he's bringing that expertise here.
I know, we're really lucky to have him.
Yeah, and we could have talked to him for hours.
I know.
In fact, we talked I feel like we went like another half hour after the show sort of ended a while
I know.
back. We were getting all this skinny on some other things.
I know.
Great guy, and it was a great time to listen to Steve and all that he's bringing back here to the Glassboro State College / Rowan University campus.
You've been listening to Beyond the Brown and Gold on Rowan Radio 89.7 WGLS FM. You can find more episodes on your favorite podcasting platforms by searching for Beyond the Brown and Gold or Rowan Radio On Demand.